Hello everyone, my apologies for the slight delay in the video upload this week. I wanted to upload the footage from Victory Show, which is obviously this past weekend, as soon as possible, and that just meant an extra day to get it all edited together before I uploaded it. So obviously coming out on a Tuesday rather than a Monday on YouTube, to the day before on Patreon. So that's the reason for the slight delay. What we're looking at here, as I say, some footage from Victory Show, the Victory Show, which was held this past weekend and was actually involved with MECo was there. I was along at the show with MECo, the group I'm part of, working with Jungle Green. We actually had a Malayan emergency display in the woods where previously we've had a Shindit display in the past. I've covered that in previous videos, of course. It was quite a good weekend, talked to a lot of interested people, as usual, quite busy from that perspective. So I didn't get a huge amount of footage of the rest of the show. I went for a quick walk round the main field during the battle when it's nice and quiet and there aren't so many people about, and it's possible to sort of navigate your way around a little bit more easily, and a little bit of a look around the woods as well on the way out. I would have liked to take more footage around the show itself, but simply wasn't time really, so quite limited from that point of view. Obviously we'll have a talk through of the kit I was wearing at the show, a quick look at the display, the Malayan emergency display which we put on in the woods, and as I say, this walk around the main field. So that's what we're going to have a look at now.
Apart from the Dixie, but you know. There's another Dixie in there, you're right. Yeah. And there's some hot water if you would like a cup.
Yeah.
Right, so here I are at Victory Show. As you'll have seen, got the display with Jungle Green and MECo working together in the woods, which is rather nice. The Malayan emergency. I'm going to talk you through the kit I'm wearing here, representing a section commander on a jungle patrol, fairly long range patrol. We'll talk about the pack and so forth in a minute. Talking about the basic uniform, of course I have the British jungle hat here in jungle green, in green drill. We have an Indian made bush jacket. We're sort of going for sort of early 1950s here, and the Indian jackets were still in use to some degree. And then in terms of trousers, we have the British made, colloquially referred to as 1947 pattern, but the SCC 19 green drill trousers, which still have the sort of wartime pattern of having the mat pocket round on the leg and the dressing pocket here. And these are sort of the immediate post-war jungle uniform that was put into production, still commonly seen in the early 1950s. In terms of footwear, we have the jungle boots here. These are probably 60s examples, originals. The earlier ones are a little bit different pattern, don't have the rubber toe cap and so forth, but they're the closest we can do. So sort of 60s era jungle boots here, very similar to the earlier patterns of canvas and rubber jungle boots which we've talked about on the channel previously. So that's the basic uniform. Talking about the weapon carried here, we have the Owen machine carbine in British parlance, but the 9mm Owen submachine gun, of course an Australian design, Australian manufactured submachine gun, which was used extensively in Malaya, much more reliable than the Sten, which had preceded it. Of course, the Sten was replaced by these and the M1 carbine to some degree as well. But the section commander, so carrying a machine carbine as you have here. The equipment sort of reflects that. On the right hip here, we have a 1944 pattern basic pouch, which has been modified to hang low on the belt. It's had the top buckle removed and a loop run through the fair lead there, so it hangs low on the belt. You can see that at the back there. Quite a common way of modifying these so that they would hang low on the belt. Not wearing the braces for the equipment at all, of course. You can see we have the standard 1944 pattern belt. You can see the buckle for that at the front here. We then next have a compass pouch, of course very important for jungle navigation, carrying a compass. And then round on the left hip we have a locally made ammunition pouch with 3 pockets to take the magazines for the Owen. So you have that there. As you can see, we open up the flap there, we can see the magazines in there. And this has a sort of crude version of the quick release openings, which are very difficult to manipulate, so I've left those open so that it's easier to show you the contents there. And then round on the back of the belt we have the water bottle. Of course that has the cup nested in, it's nested inside the cup, and that's carried in a 1944, it's a 1944 pattern water bottle, first version of the 1944 pattern water bottle, with the nylon cord modification carried in the 1944 pattern water bottle carrier on the back of the belt there. And the final piece of kit carried on the back here is the pack. This is the, well, by this point, the 1937 pattern pack. Of course, it's essentially the 1908 pack, often carried in place of the haversack because it has a greater carrying capacity. It's actually using the L-straps from the 1944 pattern equipment, and we'll have a look at those in just a moment. As you can see, it's not particularly filled out, so the in this instance probably awaiting a supply drop of further rations. So the pack would then be filled once an airdrop resupply was received. And then you can see the straps on the shoulder here which have felt padding added to them, which was something which was done at the time to a limited degree in order to make it a little bit more comfortable to carry. And that's everything I have here. So thank you very much to Alan for loaning me the Owen gun for this setup. I don't have an Owen myself, unfortunately. So there it is. That's my kit that I'm wearing this weekend. So as you might be able to hear in the background, the battle is ongoing at Victory Show. So I thought I'd go for a quick wander around with the camera running as I normally do. Just have a look at the other displays which are going on. So we're literally just going to have a wander around the site and see what else there is other than the Malaya display. Obviously we've got the paras in the woods as usual. Airborne units in the woods, airborne infantry as well, of course. I don't know how much of the machine gun fire and so forth will come through on the lav mic, but we'll see when I edit this together. But, it does mean you can walk around the site without having to push through a whole throng of people, which is useful. So I say we'll have a quick shufty, walk out of the woods, have a quick look at the main field, and that will be it really. So it's winding down a bit. This is the Sunday afternoon. The Germans over here, the Fallschirmjäger, as you can see, as well. Quite a large German contingent in the woods this time, as you can see. And we'll wander out into the main field now. The US display on the corner here, which has a training set up there. Sorry about the wind if that's coming through on my microphone. It's got a bit breezy this afternoon. Battle is ongoing over there, as you can see. We'll wander down the middle of the main field here. As you can see, some people are starting to pack up. There's still a fair bit of the displays around. Quite a lot of people involved in the battle, of course, but gives you an idea of what there is here in terms of displays. British displays here as well in the centre.
You can see the mortar fire now landing amongst the armoured personnel carriers on the right hand side.
A few people straggling over to the battle who've not already made their way up, as you can see. South Africans over here, as you can see. Having a late lunch. The US Marines over here. And I quite like the unit on the side here, the signals again with their telegraph poles set up here, which have been rigged over the course of the weekend. And then in the corner here we have a little training salt course set up with a rope swing over a pool of water and some monkey bars. As you can see, something a bit different. And if this was here last year, I wasn't here last year, so you can see that here set up in the corner. We have another British unit in the corner here, the Wiltshires. You can see their display here as the battle goes on. Lancaster flying round. And so we've got the infantry display in the foreground here, T3485 in the background there, as you can see. It's definitely that time in the afternoon for a quick siesta. Nice shadow in there, I'll try and avoid that. And obviously again a lot of the German reenactors are out and involved in the battle, of course, so just have a quick wander along here, see what else there is that's still around. There's the US vehicles and things up here, and call it there really, call it quits once we've walked down this this row. Here, people packing, some people packing up. Be a little bit of a jumble this year with the British and German, American units all jumbled up together. And we're getting quite close to the battle now, so it's probably coming through the mic a bit more. But, someone has to stay and guard the display, I guess. Yeah. Certainly an awful lot of automatic weapons fire. That's basically it for the main field. I think we'll call it there. As is usual, at the end here, we'll have a look at the bits and pieces I picked up over the course of the weekend. I'll start on the left here. Most of these bits and pieces came from my friend Alan. A couple of bits at the back here from my friend Craig. But we do have a couple of little bits to talk about which I actually picked up at the show. So we have here a pair of Australian anti-mosquito mitts. You can see here the manufacturer there, S. Carey, and then you've got the date there of 1943, size 2, and the DD Defence Department mark there with the government arrow in the centre. So a pair of those from Alan. Another nice thing from Alan was this complete with pouch, early 1958 pattern water bottle set, which is rather nice to have, with a cup and bottle dated 1962, the first year of manufacture. You can see the 62 on the cup there, and this is rather nice in that it has the maker's mark stamped down inside here. You can just see the little oval there with the lettering in it, and we'll be able to take a closer look at that as well because it's on the bottle too. You can see the usual warning on the front, keep away from heat or flame, the catalogue number there and the date of 1962 again, government arrow there. And then you can see here, hopefully, so we've got, just let me remind myself of this, you've got two different markings. So you've got Casaloid, which I believe is the plastic possibly, with the brand name for this plastic. And that's of course made by Castleflex, which you can see there. So yeah, just making sure I got the two markings the right way around there. So I believe that's the Casaloid is the plastic that this is made from. That's the designation of the plastic, or the brand name of the plastic. And Castleflex is the actual manufacturer. A fairly unusual manufacturer to find. There are a few of these knocking around, but quite nice to have. And as I say, the first year of manufacture, I didn't have a 62 dated example of one of these previously, and I don't think I had any 60s dated 60s dated cups. I think the earliest I have is 1970. So nice to have a nice early set though, say first year of production for these, together with a very tidy, pretty tidy example of the first pattern pouch as well. So very pleased to have that. And also 58 pattern, or 9058 pattern, actually part of the trials equipment, as you can tell by the Prested or snap on the quick release fastener there, is a trials yoke. So this is part of the trials equipment. I have already an example of the pack, and I think another component as well, possibly the poncho roll. I'll have to dig that out and double check, but I'm slowly finding bits and pieces of this, so maybe one day I'll have a full set together, who knows. And Alan saw this and thought of me and picked it up for me at another show, so it's very kind of him, so very pleased with that. Another piece in the puzzle. Talk next about the bits I picked up from my friend Craig. So he and I both have quite a deep interest in the Gulf War, and he has a superb collection of Gulf War kit, including a large selection of items relating to NBC, not only personal NBC equipment, but all sorts of other bits and pieces. Something we're going to talk about in future at a future event, all being well. That's the idea. And we have here a rather nice tidy example of a packaged example obviously, but these are in good condition. They've been stored away very well. The smock and trousers, the Desert DPM version of the Mark IV NBC suit. So these are the date packed is January 1991, and these actually came out of a box. Craig has purchased several boxes of these marked Operation Granby. The boxes were never opened, they were never actually issued out, but they were certainly destined for the Gulf, even if they didn't end up there. So quite nice to have, and I say we'll have a look at the boxes perhaps in the future. I think he's got 6 of them with 10 suits in each, all of this size, 180, 100, so a good size as well. This is the fabric date there, is February 1990. That's the date that the charcoal impregnated cloth would have been produced, and then the suit is obviously made from that and packaged in 1991. So very pleased with both of those. And the final thing to look at here are the bits I picked up at the show itself, or rather just from traders at the show. A couple of cellular epaulets there, and a single rank slide, Indian made rank slide, made of Indian JG cloth, as you can see, with embroidered pips. Unfortunately these are quite badly mouthed. That comes into focus there, as you can see, but these were sold as a lot together with this, and this was what I really wanted. This is quite interesting. It's a miniaturized, we can have a look at the size of the pips in comparison, a miniaturized captain's rank wristlet, so a wrist strap. And this was quite common in the latter days of the war in the Far East. Various Indian made subdued or less visible forms of rank insignia, and one of them, both officers and NCOs, is rank worn on a cuff or wristband like this. So very nice to have. And the fact that this actually has miniaturized embroidered pips is really quite nice. Missing the prong from the buckle. It does look like that originally had a prong. It's basically a trouser buckle. So you'd have the 2 thin straps at the waist with buckles on each of them. Basically one of those has been used here to make the fastening. It still works just by friction, so that's not a problem. But if I ever wanted to wear it, but just a lovely thing. And another nice sort of Indian made piece of insignia there, and a nice little story behind it as well. So very pleased with those. That's everything I picked up. So just had a quick run over that there. That's basically it for this video. So I hope you found it interesting looking at that. It was nice to attend the Victory Show again. I wasn't actually there last year, if I remember correctly, so it was nice to get back to the Victory Show. Might do Malaya again next year possibly, or back to Chindits. It was certainly missed doing Chindits it's the usual thing we do there in the woods. It's a superb backdrop for it. So it would be nice to go back and do that again at some point, and we might well do that, but we'll see. I think Jungle Green are planning to do Malaya again next year, so maybe we'll do that. It would certainly be good to do further events with them going forward. It's nice to see Malaya getting a bit of attention, and obviously people are quite often interested in it. A lot of people now, of course, are sort of, you know, we have a relative who's still alive, very elderly, who was in Malaya, or, you know, the people going around the show often have sort of relatives who were in Malaya, who are interested to talk to us, because it's an area of history that's not covered so much, certainly. So quite good from that point of view. A lot of very interested people who wanted to talk to us, and that was great. So yeah, it was good to do, and I hope you found it interesting having a quick look at it here as well in the video. If you have found this interesting and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below, and that will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as I always say, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It really is greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch, you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.